used to sometimes end up not even making money on trades that I won. Like, I literally won the trade, but I just had absolutely no process or plan in place around how or when to sell, how to take profits. So that's what you guys are not going to do and what we're going to go over in this video. Just starting out where I left off in my last video. If on this trade I'm risking $1,000 where I entered in at 450, stop loss goes at 420, the first place that I'm going to trim is when I hit 3 times my risk. Here I'm risking 30 cents per share. So when the trade has gone up 90 cents, that is when I'm first going to trim, and I'm only going to trim 5% at that time. And on this trade, that actually happened intraday. A lot of people might be like, why would you not sell so much more than that? I understand. I just learned over time with this strategy, a lot of these moves can be very, very parabolic. And whenever I would do that, I just learned that I end up selling way too early on. And for me, it's just not a good enough risk reward, not worth it. I'd rather take on the risk of it reversing at that point than the potential profits that can be made later on. When it hits 5R, which is at $6 on this trade at the end of the 4th day, that is when I will trim 20%. Now for the rest of my position, I kind of manage it as I go depending on where things are at. But on some of these, like I said, they can just continue to run for days on end. So all I'm really watching for is that it's staying above the 10 EMA, which is that purple line right there. As long as it continues above that line, I'm not looking at selling. I used to try to time the highs, and that's another thing that I learned to just not even try to do, because any time that I was like, okay, there's no way this thing goes higher, next 3 days just continues to go like crazy. Really, all I do from here on out is I'm just waiting for it to retrace back and close under the 10 EMA. It does so right here on this day. I ended up selling at $7. So this ended up being a 7R trade, which is not crazy at all when it comes to my strategy. Just some things to note is I will change this depending on market conditions. So right now in the conditions that we've been in, the really choppy market, I have been trimming much heavier earlier on. For a lot of you guys just starting out as beginners, it might really help build your confidence and feel a lot better to take much larger trims earlier on in the process. Maybe you even end up taking 25% at 3R. Just with this strategy specifically, you might have losses, but then it only takes one 10R trade to make up a lot of those plus some. So this is just kind of the process that I have found to be the most profitable. The other thing to note is I will actually calculate, what 3R is, what 5R is right after I enter the trade, and I go into TradingView and I set alerts so that every time that it hits that price, I'm alerted and I know exactly how much I need to go in and take out. A lot of the time I won't actually sell until the end of the day. So if I get the alert at the beginning of the day, I still will probably wait to sell until the end of the day. And that's because if it is a green day, most of the time it closes towards the high at the end of the day. So I'll just lock in some more profits with that. That's another thing that you'll probably pick up over time. I used to be like, oh my gosh, it's already up 20% intraday, I better sell. And then it'd go up like another 40%. In my next video, I think we're gonna actually do a walkthrough within the brokerage app, actually executing this and placing the order so you guys know exactly what my process is when doing that.